Thank you, Mr. Governor, for talking to us. We have just learned of your suspension by the presidency. Has this come as a surprise to you, and have you received any formal letter to this effect?
Well, I've been told by my office that a letter was received. As you know, I flew in this morning to Niamey, along with other governors of West African central banks, to meet with the president of Niger and president of Ghana as part of the working group on the West African currency zone. Now, fortunately, I did come in with my PG Sarah Alade, who's Mokene Deputy Governor, whom I've been asked to hand over to. So I've left the meeting and handed the meeting over to her. I have just met the Nigerian ambassador to Niger, who has confirmed to me that the presidency asked him to inform me of this decision.
Now let's continue. Speaking earlier on today to the Special President of Media and Publicity for the presidency, he did say that the presidency has received reports from the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria and other investigating bodies which have shown that your tenure has been characterized by what they call various acts of financial misconduct and recklessness, and they say that this is the basis for this suspension.
Well, I mean, I don't know what they're talking about. So what I'll do is when I come back, I'll see what those allegations are. I'm aware that some time ago, the Reporting Council, when looked at our audited accounts, asked questions that were frankly just questions which we responded to the president, and we didn't get any feedback. I don't think there's any issue that's been raised that's not been raised before. But, you know, this is not, I mean, we all know what it's about. This is about consequences for decisions that I have taken, so I have no regrets. And this was something that was long overdue. I'm surprised it took them so long.
Well, that's quite interesting. Now, moving on also, we're seeing some reaction at the financial markets. Just this morning, we saw the Naira spike into 169 Naira to the dollar, and shortly after that, we're expecting the bond market to open, but that has also been shut down. Traders that we spoke to say that they're afraid of a major sell-off. What is your biggest concern right now for the markets?
Well, look, basically my concern is for the system, and I hope that the Nigerian economy will not be hurt by this. I also hope the of the central bank will be protected. Look, I've had a wonderful 5 years of service to my country. I've been fortunate to have the opportunity to do some good work on the bank on stability. I would not want to see all of that unraveled. No individual is worth it. The institution is, yes.
Okay, do you think this recent suspension is politically motivated?
Look, it's not for me to comment. I'm not sure that. I think the answer to that is obvious, but I'm not going to comment on that.
Because the analysts that I have spoke to all say that they believe that this could perhaps be a witch hunt, and they said that because you have been outspoken against the government in recent months, and so they say they believe that this could be politically motivated.
I mean, there are also legal issues. There's the legal question of whether the president, who does not have the authority to remove the central bank, suspend the governor, and whether suspension is not removal. But, you know, I'm not interested in the job. I've always said it. I was invited to serve the country. If the government, at any point in time, the government says it feels it's time to go, I'll go. I will. I don't know what to do. I think in terms of the institution, it would be helpful to establish the principle by courts, and I think that's what we do.
So are you saying you're not going to challenge this suspension?
Look, even if I challenged it, I'm not going back to the job. Even if I suspend it, I'll not go back. But I think it would be in the interest of the institution for the court to establish once and for all if the president has the power to do this. The reason is that if it is not challenged, then from now, the next central bank governor cannot be independent, fear of it being suspended by politicians. So I do plan to have the court confirm if indeed that authority exists, and I will challenge it.
Now, I asked that question because there have been questions about or concerns about your legacy. You only have a few months to the end of your tenure, and many people believe that you have been, there's been a positive impact to the Nigerian financial system since you took over in 2009. So, of course, there are worries and concerns about the kind of legacy that you will be remembered for, especially now that this is happening.
Well, my legacy is what it is as of the time I leave office today. The legacy of low inflation, stable exchange rates, of a reformed and well-governed banking system, of robust reserves. It's a legacy of an independent central bank. It's a legacy of financial inclusion, payment systems reform, and so on. So, I mean, history will record this. Nothing is going to change that. You can suspend an individual, you can suspend the truth. Okay, and this is all about these concerns around oil revenues and around leakages in the oil sector. Well, if this is going to bring back the $20 billion, then that's fine. You know, it's just.
Now, you've said that you do not believe that going forward, if this, if you do accept this suspension, that you do not believe that we would have an independent central bank going from here. What kind of message do you think this is going to send to international investors, especially how the market will be perceived from here on?
You know, Nigeria as a country is very important to me. I would be the last person to do anything that would encourage either national instability or make it difficult for my colleagues who are running the bank to manage the institution. Sarah Alade is a very good and competent person. The deputy governors are still there. The bank MDs are there. I'm sure that the system will take care of it's bigger than any one individual. My concern, like I said, is just whether this is in fact legal. Again, not because I personally do. I think I've had my last day at the job, whatever happens. I don't plan to, it's never been my desire to hold on to a job. However, I think it's important to establish the point legally whether this can happen, because if it's not established, then the very next governor of the central bank can be suspended for any reason, and the independence of the central bank is totally undermined. And the governor cannot be removed, is that he cannot be suspended. If you've established a case, I mean, I can be queried. If there's a query, if the response is satisfactory, if I've been convicted, or if a crime has been established, that's a different matter, But to exercise this right arbitrarily and in a letter signed by the Secretary of the Government, not even by the President, these are questions that need to be asked in the courts of law.
Mr. Sanusi, if I can just comment here. Mrs. Sarah Alade will be taken over from you as acting central bank governor. Now, we also know that she's also a member of the Monetary Policy Committee. Are you hoping that she will continue with the monetary tightening regime that we're seeing right now? And also to point out the fact that at the last MPC meeting, she was actually the only member who voted for a depreciation of the Naira, moving the band from the current band that we have it.
No, Sarah Alade is a very competent person. I don't think that she's been in charge of economic policy for a long time. Actually, I flew in here with her to Niger. The moment I got the news, I asked her to sit in the meeting of the governors. I'm planning to go back to my country. I have every confidence in her ability to run the central bank. I wish her the very best. I'm very happy for her. Like I said, I have no regrets. I have no ill feelings. With no sadness. I'm happy. I'm proud of what I've done.
Okay. On that note, Mr. Governor, what are you going to miss the most during your being the central bank governor? What are you going to miss the most in the last 5 years being the central bank governor?
Can you say that? Sorry.
What are you going to miss the most from your tenure?
What are you going to?
What you will miss the most? We know there's been a lot of controversy.
Oh, what am I going to miss the most? To miss the most? I'm looking forward to the future. I mean, I look back at that tenure, and I'm very happy with what I've done. I got in the central bank. I'm proud of myself that I will not change. That I will be myself.
Thank you so much, Sanusi Lamido. Sanusi, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for talking to us.